Have you ever wondered how chickens see the world around them? At first glance, a chicken might seem like a simple backyard creature, wandering around, scratching at the dirt, and pecking at grain without much thought. But behind those small, almost comical eyes hides one of the most sophisticated visual systems in the animal kingdom, one that in several ways actually outperforms the human eye. Chickens can see a wider slice of the world, detect colors we can't even perceive, react to danger faster than we do, and even process visual information differently in each eye at the same time. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into everything that makes chicken vision so remarkable, and by the end, you'll never look at a chicken the same way again. Let's start with perhaps the most obvious difference: the position of the eyes. Unlike humans, whose eyes sit at the front of the face pointing in the same direction, a chicken's eyes are placed on the sides of its head. This single anatomical choice, shaped by millions of years of evolution, gives the chicken an almost panoramic view of its surroundings, a field of vision that stretches to nearly 300 degrees. To put that in perspective, humans typically see only about 180 degrees, and even that requires moving our eyes around. A chicken, on the other hand, can detect movement behind it, above it, and to either side, all without turning its head even slightly. This is not just a neat biological trick, it's a survival mechanism. In the wild, and even in a backyard coop, chickens are prey animals, constantly at risk from hawks, foxes, and other predators. That wide field of view means a shadow passing overhead, or a rustle in the bushes behind them, can be detected in a split second, giving them precious time to flee before a predator gets close enough to strike. But having such wide peripheral vision comes with a trade-off, and this is where things get interesting. Because the eyes point outward rather than forward, each eye largely operates on its own, processing a separate image independently of the other. Scientists call this monocular vision, and it means that, in a sense, a chicken's brain is handling two almost entirely separate visual streams at once. However, chickens aren't completely without depth perception. Directly in front of the beak, there is a small triangular zone where the visual fields of both eyes actually overlap, creating a narrow strip of binocular vision. This overlapping area allows the chicken to judge distance and depth with much greater precision, which becomes essential the moment it needs to accurately peck a single grain of wheat, a small insect, or a droplet of water off the ground. Without this overlap, feeding would be a clumsy, hit-or-miss activity. With it, chickens can strike their target with impressive accuracy. What's even more fascinating is that a chicken's two eyes don't just work independently. They actually specialize in different tasks altogether. Research on chicken behavior and neurology has shown a clear asymmetry. The right eye tends to be tuned for close-up, detailed tasks, like identifying and sorting through food on the ground, while the left eye is more attuned to scanning the broader environment, especially the sky, for potential threats. This division of labor is linked to how each eye connects to the opposite hemisphere of the brain, meaning the right and left sides of a chicken's brain are essentially specializing in different jobs at the very same time. It's a bit like having one part of your mind constantly focused on a detailed task in front of you, while another part keeps a permanent, independent watch for danger overhead, a kind of built-in multitasking that humans simply don't have. Now let's talk about color, because this is where chicken vision truly leaves human vision behind. Human eyes contain 3 types of color-sensitive cone cells, which is why we perceive the world through combinations of red, green, and blue. Chickens, however, have 4 types of cone cells. That 4th type allows them to detect ultraviolet light, a part of the spectrum that is completely invisible to us. This means chickens are experiencing a layer of color and pattern in the world that we can't even imagine. Hidden markings on feathers, subtle differences in food freshness, and visual cues used in social interactions with other chickens, all rendered in colors outside human perception. Some researchers believe this ultraviolet sensitivity even plays a role in mate selection and flock hierarchy, since certain feather patterns may look far more vivid or distinct under UV light than they do to our eyes. In a very real sense, Chickens are walking around inside a version of reality that's richer in color than the one we experience every single day. Chickens also have a clever piece of built-in eye protection that most people have never heard of: a third eyelid, technically known as the nictitating membrane. Unlike our own eyelids, which move up and down, this membrane sweeps horizontally across the eye, much like a windshield wiper clearing rain off a car's windshield. Chickens spend a lot of their time with their heads down, scratching, digging, and pecking through dirt and debris, activities that would otherwise expose their eyes to constant irritation from dust and small particles. The third eyelid solves this problem elegantly. It's thin and semi-transparent, so it can sweep across the eye to clear away debris and keep it moist, all while still allowing the chicken to maintain enough vision to avoid missing an approaching threat. Of course, with every strength comes a weakness, and for chickens, that weakness shows up once the sun goes down. Despite their extraordinary daytime vision, chickens see remarkably poorly in low light and near total darkness. This comes down to a relatively low number of rod cells, the type of photoreceptor responsible for detecting dim light, compared to some other animals. As daylight fades, a chicken's ability to navigate and spot danger drops dramatically, which is exactly why chickens instinctively return to the coop before dusk and become almost completely still once it's dark. It's not laziness or habit alone. It's a hardwired survival response to the fact that their incredible visual toolkit essentially shuts down once night falls. So when you put it all together, a chicken's eye is a small but extraordinary piece of biological engineering, a wraparound field of view for spotting danger, split-brain visual specialization for multitasking, between food and threats, a color range that dips into ultraviolet light invisible to us, a built-in windshield wiper for eye protection, and a vulnerability to darkness that shapes their entire daily rhythm. Next time you catch a chicken tilting its head and staring at you with one eye, remember, it's not just curious. It might genuinely be seeing a version of you and the world around you that you can never truly experience yourself. If you found this as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more surprising facts and hidden truths you never knew existed.